All right, welcome back to the Conscious Creator Podcast. And in this episode, I want to talk about something that confuses a lot of people who work for themselves as teachers, healers, content creators, somewhere in this entrepreneurial world that we find ourselves, many of us find ourselves working in today. And that's the difference between being a solopreneur and being an entrepreneur. And when you don't know the difference and you're not sure and you're not clear what your goals are, it's easy to get frustrated and lost on this path. And when I do my meditation teacher trainings and I'm working with my teachers, future teachers, whether it's one-on-one or in the group setting, I'm always trying to help them realize which path they're taking. So, for example, a solopreneur is somebody that works for themselves. That seems simple and clear, right? But it's not always. So when you're a solopreneur and you work for yourself, maybe you teach meditation and it's just you and you take one-on-one clients all day. Maybe you teach some in-person or online classes and you're it, right? Maybe you're a plumber and you go house to house, you work for yourself. Maybe you're an accountant or a bookkeeper and you work for yourself. You're a solopreneur, all right? You're building a business around you where you essentially are the product or the service. You're the one providing it, okay? An entrepreneur is someone whose clear goal is to build a business that could run without them, right? That's a fundamental difference. The second difference is how much you want to work on your business versus in your business. So this can also be confusing. A lot of entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, depends where you are on the journey, we'll get into that, spend too much time, sometimes all of their time, working in the business and not enough on the business. And what that means is they get lost in the weeds, in the details. Some of that's good. It generates income. So perhaps if you do one-on-ones all day, you're working in the business. If you're a plumber, you go house to house fixing things, you're working in the business, right? Creating the right kind of business structure like an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, that'd be working on the business, right? Deciding on strategy, hiring, outsourcing, all of that would be working on the business. What are the future goals of the business? How big do you want to make it? What do you want the revenue to be? Can you hand it off at some point or automate it? If you have courses, automate them. That would be working on the business. And I think there are some good ratios kind of as you move along of how much you should work in the business versus on the business. Even if you're going to be a solopreneur or mostly a solopreneur, maybe you just hire a little bit of help here and there. But in the beginning, in the beginning stages, you should be doing probably somewhere around 80% working in the business and 20% on the business. And that seems reasonable to me. But if you want to grow it, if you're burning out, maybe you're doing a lot of one-on-one work and you're just starting to burn out and you want to automate things and scale in some way, then you're going to have to spend more time working on the business. And so maybe that number goes up. At some point, perhaps you spend 50% of your time working on it and 50% of your time in it. Now, working on it isn't always as fun as working in it. Even me, I find myself having to deal with the accountant, the bookkeeper, looking at different reports, Excel spreadsheets. What are the goals for the year, right? All of those things can be working on the business, the website, the design of it, the copy. I need to meditate now, just thinking about it. And I have 3 businesses. So I also do other work, which I'll get into, but I have 3. One is Meditation School, which is a meditation app, and also a desktop platform where I have a lot of my classes and courses. And then I have the Energy Matters Academy, where we do more intuitive energy work stuff, which is a school. We have maybe 10 or so teachers. We have administrative help for both actually for both businesses. And then I have Aligned Virtual Teams, which is a human resource company. And there we have dozens of virtual assistants. And so I find myself very much working on these businesses, and I have to constantly step back and go, okay, what's the appropriate ratio for me? How much attention do these businesses need? How can I help scale them without being lost in the weeds and enjoy myself in the process? And I do enjoy growing businesses. So if you want to scale a business that goes beyond you, then you're going to transition at some point from being a solopreneur to being an entrepreneur, which means you're going to have to hire people. Maybe you take investment or you invest some more of your own money if you've already invested some, and there's a bigger vision. You do not have to do that. And don't get sold by all the shiny objects out there. You know, everyone wanting to be super wealthy and being on a yacht or whatever the image is. Not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. What's the quote? Being an entrepreneur is like chewing on broken glass and staring into an infinite abyss of darkness. So be careful about taking that path. If you can make a solid living, make an impact in the world, and really enjoy yourself, and be a solopreneur and be free, then that's great. If you are okay with managing people, if you want to scale a business, if you want to at some point possibly let go of the reins, then you're moving into being an entrepreneur. And that's great too. But you have to know what you're made of and if you're interested in that. And for those of you who are solopreneurs and you're like, hey, I do want to grow, but I don't want to do all that. Well, then maybe you connect with other companies that help you grow. You step into different sources of traffic. You know, like I work with Insight Timer. They have a huge infrastructure. They're amazing. They take care of everything, and I get to teach. So there are also avenues like that. It doesn't all have to be on you all the time. But it is important, especially in the beginning of the journey, as you're setting goals and making decisions about how big you want to be. Do you want to be a solopreneur or an entrepreneur? How much time are you spending in the business versus on the business? And you have to step back and go, what here needs more attention? Like I've seen people lose so much money because they had the wrong tax structure, or they were putting their resources and time in the wrong area of the business because they were so in the weeds and they couldn't just step back and take a bird's eye view for a moment and adjust a few things that would be working on the business. I think I knocked that point home enough times here. That's all I wanted to share about this one. Step back, work on the business a bit more, and create what's going to fulfill you and help others, and you're good to go. All right, that was my pep talk, my meditation, conscious creator pep talk for today. I'll see you next time.